Hey, you guys. I'm so excited to have you all on here and listening. We're really grateful. This is going to be episode 7 of out of the goal of 10 episodes by May. And I'm almost there. I'm so grateful to have Adrian. This is one of my good friends from college. We went to digital art school together. And now she's transitioning into holistic coaching with weight reduction and astrocartography. And I am just really excited to learn more about her journey, from what made her interested and what got her started to this point now living in Wisconsin. It's pretty dope. Pretty dope. I'm so excited. But I'll go ahead and get started with the introduction, and then I'll pass it over to you to learn a little bit more about you, Adri, okay?
Sure.
All right, cool, cool, cool. All right, you guys. So, welcome back. We are the Obsidian Strength Podcast. It was established by myself and Alex Christina in July 2022 in order to inform, empower, and highlight BIPOC and LGBTQ in the strength and fitness industry. Our mission is to hold fun yet safe and meaningful conversations that strengthens our listeners, mirrors our audience, and pierces through the dark mist to reveal our truths. All right. Adri, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're here.
Sure. A little bit about myself. I'm 34 and I went through a huge spiritual transformation in 2020 that has led me to where I am now. And boy, do I tell you, it's a story. But before that, I grew up and was raised in the northern suburbs of Chicago, single mom, blessings. Until about 9 years old when she remarried, and I have a brother and a sister. And then through that, I learned a lot. So in their single years, I had learned what it is to be very, very one with your mom to the point where both of you can kind of lose your identity and squish a bit and trying to separate from that as you get older. Then you have when she remarried siblings and new family, and how it was like, how dare you leave me because you found a new husband, and then you have kids, and it's like this weird thing where you want to still possess your mom a little bit because you've been with her for like 9 years. But then you learn that sharing is caring, and better because you have siblings that you can boss around. So that's where I gained a lot of my confidence in family life and navigating family and friends, is that I have a large family on my father's side. My biological father, not my ex, my mother's ex husband. Um, and then going through the millennial tragedies that a lot of millennials have gone through in 2008 with the crash of the everything, basically, your family, as well as trying to get to college and then not getting to college when you want to. So having to work instead to make sure that you are supported and your family supported. And I learned a lot there in terms of responsibility. And then I finally got to school at 24, went to the same college as Clinay, blessings. Um, Graduated animation visual effects, and huge turnaround. Now I'm in now I'm in my own life coaching. And that really hit me in 2020 when I looked at a photo in 2019 at myself. We were in San Diego celebrating my mother's birthday. And I looked at myself and I was like 199, almost 200 pounds. I didn't quite get over 200, but I was 199 pounds. And I saw myself and I was like, that's not me. I don't know who this person is. When I think of myself and when I feel myself, it's not who I see in the mirror or, physically who I see in the mirror. And then I enrolled myself into a 6-week program. I did the 6-week program from December to January. It was like a New Year's thing. And I didn't have any results in terms of weight reduction specifically. I think I went down maybe 2 or 3 pounds. I went down to like 196 and 197, not much, mostly water weight. However, it did provide me the mindset. So I consider that a fantastic investment. The mindset helped me in my decision because I was 2020 came around and so did the pandemic. And I wasn't working at my previous job anymore. Instead, I was working for like just my own delivery service, and I was able to make my own schedule, and that paid a lot of my bills because the pandemic shut everything down. So I was very well taken care of. And I just rolled and just did my own program. That was the start, March 14th, I believe, 2020, which is the same day I believe the shutdown actually happened. And I just walked for 4 hours a day because I was so slow. But then I built resilience and then I built additional mindset strengthening and went through. And then I started to build on, build on, build on, worked out more, like actual leveled up from just walking to doing also in the Golden Gate Park and the amphitheater, doing squats, doing lunges, all that stuff, and started building muscle and reducing my fat content. I changed my entire eating habits. My eating habits, granted, are very good. I just cook my own food. I don't eat out much. But I was eating too much, and which is interesting because they're like, oh, if you're working out, you should be eating between 1,800 to 22 calories, to 22,000 calories. And I was like, okay. And I was like, shoot, no. I went down to 1,200, and I was like, this is perfect. Um, and that's I reduced weight, I believe, like water weight came off first. That's the easiest. But basically in about 2.5 months, I went down about 30 pounds, which, people are like, whoa, that's a lot. As you think about it, if 10 pounds is just water weight, then the rest of the 20, especially if you're working out every day, is pretty good. Um, so yeah, and then I plateaued in May. In May, I went to the mall with some of my roommates, and I tried on a shirt, and I'm very particular in my shirts because I have broad swimmer shoulders. Not only were they broad, they were bulky, like especially in the deltoid area, in the traps. Those were huge, still huge, even though I stopped swimming when I was in high school, after I graduated high school. And then I started walking the next day, and I was like, what's going on with these shoulders? Why are you holding what's going on? Why are you so big? And then it just kind of hit me as I was walking on the emotional attachment that I placed almost everything that I do physically, mentally, and emotionally, I placed on my shoulders. If I was working out, if I was lifting something, I would usually use my shoulders instead of my back or my legs, which is a big no-no. Or emotional, if someone were to hit me with emotions, or if I were to feel emotions, instead of processing them properly, I would hold on to it and my shoulders would get stiff. And so they would hold into my shoulders, my upper traps up here. Oh my God, they're a little tight. But through there, I was able to really feel why these were so big, why they were so bulky. And it was just like a waterfall of these, just admitting to myself why I was doing this. And then I was like, you know what? F everything. No, no more. I'm not gonna just, yes, I'm a woman. I'm a woman of color. I'm really good at what I do when I do it. I'm fantastic at responsibilities. I'm fantastic at hiding myself, and I hide myself in my shoulders. Absolutely no more. Why am I going to do this? Like, no, 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 no. So I just like literally go and brush your shoulder off. That's what I was doing while I was walking. I was releasing just all the energy that I had compacted into these poor, poor lady shoulders here. And the revelation was freeing. It was that was the start of Your Inner Earth, which is the program and the my little company is that's what it's called. Um, and then I just ran with it. Literally, I ran because I had so much energy. I was so angry at I was angry with not just myself, I was also angry at all the things that I had allowed to be put upon me and I accepting it. So mostly, I guess I was angry at myself. I can't blame all the other things. Like they happened, but I accepted it. So I was like, no more. From then on, I started objectifying what I was feeling on the inside. If like my arms, swimmer arms, swimmer shoulders, swimmer arms, my arms weren't as much, as an issue, but I was like, you know what? I want nice coconut shoulders. I want the coconut shoulders, like, the nice round shoulders. And I was like thinking about the arms, and like I had an injury when I was in high school. I was doing taekwondo and I landed on in the wheelbarrow. I landed on my arm, went like this and kind of popped out. And so I have like a slight injury there. So then, like, taking into account just things that have happened as you grow up and so on and so forth. And just, healing mind, body, remembering how does your shoulder, how is it supposed to feel in its socket? If you can remember that, or how do you think it's supposed to feel by looking at anatomy pictures, looking at the muscular, the skeletal, the muscular, even the nervous, like what a healthy, in quote, healthy body, optimal body is to look like. So there's a mind body connection and understanding what your body looks like on a physical level. And then on an emotional level, where things are whole, where things you hold specifically. You may hold something in one area that another place is completely different with another person. How you grew up and how you take in energy in another person is different. So then we have to identify what's going on with there. Um, Anything that is traumatic, or sometimes I don't like using the word traumatic because then it really makes it seems to make it more of a challenge because it puts so much energy into it. So instead of maybe using the word trauma as being like, you can use the word like emotional challenges, because then at least you can overcome challenges. Traumas are it's such a trigger word. Um, so yes, that is the short of the long of where I came from and where I am going to. I have my first client and I will be training them. And then hopefully I'll be coming over to you soon, and coming after you.
You got me. You got
But yeah.
me. You definitely got me there. I'm just really, it's really amazing. I mean, that was originally the question of what is your origin story? And I think you kind of you tapped into that. And it's just really amazing to see you go from wanting to go into production to and creating your own, company and everything like that, when you were working at Sony, and now you're just like, I'm just curious, like what was the, thing, like what was the message, like, basically, that you got, that came from that and stemmed from that, and like also what got you into the journey of astrocartography, because that's pretty. I see all that. I see all that happening in like TikTok and everything like that. I see the
Mhm.
TikTok things and I'm like, whoa, wait, now I have a friend who actually does it. Like, what's going on? What's that about?
Yeah. So the what got me into the inner earth, well, of course, was the me at the end of the day. I went down to 130. So I went from 200 pounds, 199, to down to 130. And that was in 2 years. That was 2 years. So yeah, I went down to 130 last year around September. So um which was a weight that I was when I was in like 19. I was around 130. So I went back down to like a high school weight. I went down to what my mother calls is your original blueprint and then building off of it. So that's what I call it. So it's finding me. I had found my physical self and where it is, and now I'm building up because I'm like, oh yeah, now I think I dropped too much weight in certain areas. I'm gonna go build that up and build that muscle because I like muscle. Um, and then astrocartography, how I found that, and this all comes together in 2020, last year, because 2020, so last year, 2022. Um, I found astrocartography from Cosmic Vibrations March, I believe, or just before March, somewhere around there. And I just like fell in love with it. I was like, oh my goodness, I love astrology already. I'm learning astrology, I'm tarot and all that stuff. And then astrocartography was this completely open door, and I was just obsessed. I was trying to learn as many lines as possible. Um I even bought their little cheat sheets, their $11 cheat sheet, Dom and Michelle. Shout out, love you guys. Um, and they then, I think a couple months later, they were like, we're gonna accept students. And I was like, absolutely, I need to go there. And so I became their first student. And I am, to this day, I'm learning, and I'm hopefully to get my certificate from them. So it's been a year, since I've found their channel. It's been a little over a year. And I absolutely love it. It made a lot of sense to me, and I'm not going to go too much into it because it's a lot of information. But basically, it's based off of your time of your birth, birthday, location, all that stuff. It captures the planetary energies at the time of your birth, and it never changes. So you can kind you that you can use that as finding the best places to like live, to visit, for work, or in general, how the energies of the location that you are going to go into, how it can affect you, especially like on a psychological level, and sometimes even on a physical level. Actually, a lot of times it can manifest physically depending on where you are and not knowing these energies in the area. So yes, and just manifesting and transmuting for it to be beneficial to you. And I'm all about energy, obviously, so that helps me a lot. Found out that when I was living in Illinois, I never really vibed in Chicago. Just it's not my jam. Makes sense. Turns out I have a lot of heavy lines there. When I moved to California, I turned from introvert into an extrovert. Found out my sun lines in California. Straight up. We're San Francisco, all like from the north south, San Francisco down to, or I should say BC, Canada, all the way down to San Diego.
Wow.
And that's where I just blossomed. I found my vitality, I found confidence, I found more of who I was on the inside, and then why I just did not care for Illinois. So
Mm.
yeah, so astrocartography is energy that you can use and for what it is that you want, and it works. It really does. Uh, and then moving on a little bit, I had a boyfriend and we broke up. And that like really set me, when you go through like very pivotal changes, it resets you. It just breaks you down. It can break you down. And if you allow it to break it down to your fundamental level, if you allow yourself to actually really feel all that pain, you find that you find yourself through that. And then you can build from there. People are like, you have to stay strong. It's like, no. I mean, yes, in some ways, like you don't want to go into full on depression, but actually allowing yourself to get down to a fundamental level, which is a little bit more analytical than it is emotional. You build yourself up from there. So after I broke up with my we broke up in like May, June or whatever, um, I found that I couldn't eat and it was the first time I've ever in my life found that I couldn't eat because I was so sad. My emotions tied with my digestive system, with my stomach, with my whatever it is that says like, oh, you're hungry. And like if I tried to eat, I couldn't. All I could ever have was broth, like chicken broth, beef broth, pho. Pho was my favorite. I could drink pho for days. But when it came to like physical food, I was like, nah, nah. Thankful. I'm a soup girl. I'm a broth girl. Love broth. But yeah, that was a thing that I had to contend with for a few months. And to this day, I still have that where I have to force myself. I don't force myself. I just remember to eat. And healing that injury from opening myself up on a very like I love somebody, uh, or at least I love them as a person, and then moving on
Yeah.
and refining yourself through that. So that's where I had a spiritual awakening last year. It was intense, it was immense, and that's where I found your inner earth. in one aspect for the healing that I would like to do for myself and then give that out to others, as well as what I want to do on a larger scale,
Mm.
um, with like forever things. um, so I have technically two companies. One is an LLC that is created and I'm developing, and Your Inner Earth is a little bit more like I want this to be very personal between me and another person, and more of the, oh hey, this is something that this person does and it's word of mouth because it's so personal. But yes, that that's where that came from.
That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. And the sun, like mentioning the sun lines, I guess that like kind of it just like in layman's terms for us who aren't the professionals, this is where you shine the brightest. This is where you thrive the most, as far as like sun lines and stuff like that. And it's funny you mentioned that, like Adri tapped into a little bit with me not too long ago, and she said like Texas, Houston area, California, and stuff like that. And I did thrive out there like significantly. And now that I'm in Florida, this is a place where I'm more creative in a sense, where I kind of have my creative hiatus and doing things like this, and so on and so forth has just really been helpful in the healing phase. So I'm really grateful to hear that that's kind of like what awakened that was just like, kind of tapping into yourself and noticing things. Yeah. Go ahead, Alex. Were you gonna say something?
No, I was like, oh man. I was like, I mean, I like as an army brat, and moving and living in multiple places, I I I I completely understand where it's like some places you thrive and other places you're like, I just want to survive this, and then hopefully we'll move somewhere else. like you're just like you're like, the mindset changes between like, oh, I can have fun here, and then you get interested in like other things, and then it like, depending on what the place is, you're like, all right, we just take it one day at a time. I was like, it's not that deep. We will survive. Type situation. So yeah, that's really cool. And I guess like in like how long does it take you to find your sun lines? Is that a long process?
How long did it take me to find you mean learn astrocartography as a whole or
Uh
specifically?
yeah. As a whole.
Okay, so there's a website called astro.com, and all you have to do is put in your information. You can make an account, put in your information, and you go into it's like Astro Click Travel, and it'll show you the map so you can find everything. So it shows you where your best lines are. How long it took me to learn? I'm still learning. I got my flashcards right here. It's one of those things where you just have to keep practicing. Once I start reading a map, I'm like, here. And then a lot of the things like intuition will kind of pop in as well, because when you understand the lines and understand the energy of the lines, then you can absolutely kind of, I don't want to say counsel or coach, but you can have a little bit of, you can give some guidance to the quarry. So the core. So it took me, I would say, because there's something called major lines and minor lines. The major lines are, yeah, those are pretty easy to learn because there's the planets in the plus the sun, um, and a asteroid called Chiron. So you learn that, and then you learn those planets, and then you learn what they call the minor lines, which are like there's two to three. There can be two to three. So yeah, there's two, I believe. So yeah, they're maybe about like 6 months
All right.
approximately. Um, However, it can be accelerated if you're studying really well and you're retaining the information and you're practicing. Thankfully, I'm obsessed with it that I'm like always like, yes, this does this, this, and this. But then there was a hiatus because I was out between for a few months and have been traveling since September of last year. Like I haven't since the start of this year, I haven't been at my mother's place, my in Chicago, or Illinois for like 3 weeks. I think it's a collective of 3 weeks. Just been everywhere. And I moved. I'm like, whoa, I'm in Wisconsin. And I'm not gonna lie, it's still not the best lines, but I moved here very specifically for self-healing, and I'll be here for 14 months. We'll see how I feel, if I want to stay or not. But yeah, I'm feeling it. I didn't really leave it. I've always lived here. But I'm just closer to the line that's of self-healing, and it has to do with my own love, self-love, and being able to accept it, as well as entrepreneurship and going into it and partnership with others that are off in business. So, like, this popped up on a solar eclipse in Aries where I'm not looking for anything. I should say I should not be manifest. I'm not going to necessarily manifest. Things are to come to me. And this was the day. So I was like, this is a special day then.
Dope. And then what a day for you to be interviewing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I don't think I asked in previous conversations we've had recently, but yeah, no, like I didn't even think to ask, like, okay, did you go because that was your self-healing line and everything like that, or fell along Wisconsin fell along the lines. It was like really honestly random. And I was like, wait, what? I didn't know, like, because I thought for sure you were gonna go back to California, but it's actually pretty cool to see that you took that leap, because I think like the time before, like the couple conversations we had recently, you were in Florida, I think, with your aunt, and then you were like, I think I saw a post and you were like, I'm in Wisconsin. And I was like, whoa, what?
Oh, Gemini sun.
Right. I'm just like, hey, okay, we got to check in. What's going on? But I'm really proud of you and I'm excited for you. So 14 months, you're out there 14 months, or you're just giving it.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Well, I signed a lease for 14 months and that started March 21st. So, yeah, well, I do like it here. I was here last year in September and it feels like a mini San Francisco without the city. And so I was like, oh, yes, thank goodness. I like it here. I like it here. It's more of like, let's go out and make friends. And then it snows and it's like, oh, yes, that doesn't change in the Midwest. It'll just snow whenever it feels like it in April, middle of April. But yeah, I purposefully moved over here for healing. Yeah, it was a thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to put myself through all of this. But it's really kind of necessary for the evolution of your own spirit and soul. Um, it's not necessarily you have to take it with pain. It's more of like allowing yourself to embrace the unknown and embrace the whatever it is that God calls to you, or spirit, or like whatever you believe in and so on. I do believe in God. I do believe in spirit. And ever since last year, I just couldn't get this place out of my head. And I have been traveling. I visited Baltimore. It's like, nah. I visited Asheville, which is actually pretty similar. Some people could say it's similar here. However, I was there during the winter, so in January, and I was like, no, I don't really feel the vibe. I was in Chattanooga, Georgia. Nope. I was in Orlando, which I've been there before with my auntie, and that was the second time I was helping her out. And it's just like beautiful. I love the green. I do love the water, and it doesn't call to me. It doesn't call to me. And then I realized why. I'm like, it's beautiful, it's spiritual. And then I realized, and then when I found out this, I found it earlier, and so I kind of had an idea what was going on. I was on my Neptune IC. So and I was going through a huge spiritual growth, another spiritual growth. I was connecting. The reason why I was in Chattanooga, I was connecting with my father's side of the family that I had been estranged from for 20 years,
Mm.
and making connections there. So I am definitely very much a person that bridges. And now I'm like, okay, I'm here. Who am I fixing? Hopefully myself. But it sounds like there's other people that I'm helping out as well on a spiritual and emotional level. So I'm like, all right, we're gonna do it.
Yeah. No, starting with yourself, like I think that's amazing. That's dope. That's really
I mean, I think that's also when you're with family, you're just like, how can this be a positive experience for me? But then like And that's what you go. I feel like that's what you go in with. You're like, yeah, we're gonna do this for me. And then like people start talking to you and you find yourself like pulled apart. You're like, well, that didn't really work out. How's it like how you intended? And you're like, let's try this again next year type of deal. But that's really but yeah, no, I mean that's really awesome, like the whole reconnecting and also traveling and like yeah, it's all your really beautiful pictures on Instagram. And I was like, oh, I had never been to Chattanooga. I've only been to like Knoxville, Tennessee, and so it was just like, oh, somewhere. I think that's on the other side of Tennessee, if I know my mapping.
It's west. Yeah, Nashville is west, and Chattanooga is more like south and east. It's like on the border of Georgia.
Ah, I heard that. Heard that. I'm like really excited. I'm like, oh, what's my astrocartography lines? I'm excited. Anyway, sorry.
Book an appointment with her. Are there any parts of yourself that you haven't fully accepted, and why?
Oh yeah, I mean, and it's like one of those things where you have to make an itinerary list. Because there's only so much you can do, or else you get overloaded and then you don't really focus on what.
Right.
Yeah, it is accepting my lovability, I suppose, being the ability to receive love, since I was young, I'm a single mother, and yeah, she gave me love, but she was also an entrepreneur. She was building her own company and all that stuff. So she was out and about doing things and working to take care of me. Like she had a 9 to 5 job, and then she left that to do her own entrepreneur stuff. So I would kind of go around with her and be her little helper and all that fun things. So it's like, I'm good with giving and assisting. Um, and like to this day, unless I really know you, I won't necessarily ask you for help. It's like, hey, I need help with this. Are you free? Like it's as simple as, hey, can you help me with the couch? And I'm getting better with that. I have gotten way better. Like, so that's one thing, is accepting that, yes, I do need help with things, especially let's say more personal things that are intrinsic, or like they are weaved into my emotional well-being, where I'll be like, oh, hide and do it myself, I'll figure it out, and I won't say anything. And yet it's like, no, don't do that. You feel like you're throwing up, you got to throw up, don't do it. Just ask for help, it's okay. People want to see that you're human. People love that, you're not some freaking alien robot. um and in general, allowing myself to actually open up truly and truthfully, and making connections with people, and just being like, this is what's going on in my life, this is like having a crush on somebody, or this is how I'm feeling, this is what's going on, this is, I just feel like I'm going to just dance around on my floor naked or something like that, or like I feel really gooey on the inside, or I feel really happy on the inside, and just like go really deep and allow myself to be shown in that, to be seen in a very like human deep light, because I'm so used to being quiet and letting other people speak and being the ear that listens. What happens though is that leaves you, that kind of close yourself off to also that reciprocation. And then I realized that sometimes I use that, or I have like a subconscious thing where, oh, if people leave, I'll feel sad. However, if I am like, I've never had a friendship that really just blew up, and except like maybe one a little bit that blew up and just like was terrible. Um, Most of it, everything has been very like, okay, that's cool, and then, go on. And I realized that like it was actually brought to my attention. It's like, well, do you do that on purpose so that it can go away smoothly? So that you feel that you're protecting yourself because you're not being emotionally vulnerable with others. And I was like, yeah, probably. It's not hard to admit, but like ability is absolutely there. I mean, knowing myself, absolutely. I'm a person that likes to give and have trouble receiving, and especially in the love area. The first I took my 20s for me, as I say, and I didn't have my first boyfriend until I was 33. So, or 32. And then we broke up, 33, 34. Yeah. 33, but we were friends for about a year, almost a year and a half. And I was fine. So it's like being able to release myself, like truly release what is the emotions of Adriana, because she looks like she has shit together. No, she's a bloody mess. Like, I'm a messy human. I'm an absolutely messy human. Like, sure, I want to go, I would love to go meditate at my altar and cry like a baby. Why not? Or yeah, I would love to go to a bar and start a bar fight. Right. But it sounds pretty classic. I would love to be funny, but I know that's not necessarily the biggest in my personality. I'm a fun person to be around and I love fun things and I like generating fun. Am I funny? I'm pretty dry, honestly. And so it's like, allowing myself to be seen as a messy human being and like all the stuff that is dramatic, all the things that are like, like, man, Adriana, you're kind of dirty. And I was like, yeah, aren't you? If you really think about it, we're all dirty human beings. We all have dirty minds. We all can be facetious sometimes. Like it's a thing. And it just depends on who you are as a person, your personality, sure. But like I do know I have an aggressive side and or I do know I have a very soft and nurturing side. I do have a listening side. I'm a well-rounded individual. I have a philosophical side that I would love to show more, a spiritual side that I have like getting into. So to answer your question, oh yeah, there's so many. There's a list. There is an absolute list. And it's it's a recognizing, it's identifying, acknowledging, and implementing small changes in my life so that it becomes the habit and consistent, and then I move on to the next, incorporate. And that list it's a thing. It's a list that's gonna probably go on forever. There's things that come up and need to be identified and need to be done. But the nice thing is you're getting at it.
Yeah.
Until that you don't have any regrets when you get older, and that's like an ultimate goal. It's like I can go up to the big man and be like, or big people and be like, yeah, guess what I did? Be proud, hug me. But I'm not afraid to be like, praise me. I'm cool with that.
Give me a round of applause. Yeah, no, that's pretty dope. No, it's really interesting because I feel like there's like, I think I was even sharing with you before we got on the call, like, they're acknowledging that, there are certain things about me that I'm like, I've accepted, but at the same time, it's just like, yeah, no, you should not accept this. This is not okay, and this is something that needs to be addressed. And so I won't go into detail, but it's just like, having that moment and just being okay with the fact that, okay, we're human, we fall off, shit happens, and I think the more that we can be more, give ourselves more grace, give ourselves more praise and less criticism, it goes a long way. And so I'm really proud of you for that, because I feel like a lot of people shy away from that, like saying, yeah, no, I'm a mess. And sometimes I can be a mess. I forgot to ask what you call it question. I know we're like deep into the interview, but I forgot to ask the icebreaker question. And it was, I know that you're a gamer and I used to be a gamer. I don't know if Alex is a gamer or not, or was a gamer or not.
My gamer extent is Game Boy Color. So like if anything past that, I still have my original, still have my Game Boy Color, still have the games. And yes, I am still playing Zelda Oracle of Seasons because I cannot find that damn card. But it is what it is. We are making our way through. It is what it is. And I know how to space Fire the Dragon. That's really it. That's the extent when I get to a big screen. But I'm pretty sure you have surpassed me in that realm.
Oh yeah. No, I think I remember it was like one of the last times I had visited Adri's house in San Francisco, and she was playing a video game. I don't know what it was, but what is your favorite video game? If you still play video games, what is or what was?
Yeah, I've done a huge shift. I am like not interested as much in video games as I was before. I was definitely heavy into RPGs and not really shooters or anything like that. It was like, I don't know, I don't remember what I was playing. I could have been playing, was there robots in there?
I don't
I could
remember.
have been playing Horizon Zero Dawn,
Horizon Zero
or
Dawn. Okay.
it could have been Horizon Zero Dawn. It could have been a Kingdom Hearts. It could have been something RPG. It would have been in some type of RPG game.
Definitely wasn't Kingdom
Um,
Hearts. It was like a
um,
woman was the hero character or something like that, or
oh, so it was Horizon Zero Dawn then.
okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Because
I
there's
really,
only there's a handful. Pardon?
I don't know. It's like I really do like a female protagonist, but that's just me.
Yeah, Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn. Because there's really not a whole lot of female protagonists. Um, yeah, that would have been it. Otherwise, Laura Croft, Tomb Raider. But I think it was probably Horizon. But yeah, I do love Horizon, by the way. Great game. To this day, I would say probably Kingdom Hearts that
Okay.
definitely spurred me on my little PlayStation too. So classic Mario's, of course. I mean, I love Mario Kart.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
all this stuff, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I apologize. I meant like I mean maybe this is like kind of uh a mid brain break, mid interview thing, whatever we'll incorporate it as somehow. But I forgot to ask you that because I know that you used to play games. Mine's was Grand Theft Auto and Jack and Dexter. In my younger years it was Crash Bandicoot. I don't know if you guys remember that game or not. That was the
Cat
PlayStation.
Crash.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, anyway, I just wanted to ask that because I was like, yeah, that I can't believe I forgot to ask that because it's a great question.
Wait, have you? So, what is your favorite Game Boy game though? Do you either one of you have a good Game Boy game?
Oh, Zelda.
Yeah.
Yes. Love Zelda. Love Zelda.
I still have the original Zelda game
Or
cartridge.
Pokemon. Either one.
Blue or red? Oh, either one.
Ooh, I think I had red. I think.
Nice. Yeah, I still have blue and red. I don't know where the card key is. It is what it is. I gave
Yeah.
up.
Maybe it was blue. No, I'm pretty sure it's red. We still have the cartridge.
Yeah.
We have it in our cabinet of like, do not get rid of this.
Gotcha.
Collector's item. Personal. I wonder
I
if it
can't
Yeah.
still
believe
works.
you guys still have those. That's pretty crazy.
My question, I know, like we spoke on this a little bit before, so but I kind of want to get a little bit more into it. Is like, how has emotional weight reduction helped you versus other weight reduction processes?
Most rate reduction processes do not even identify emotion. They're if you go to the gym, I mean, it depends on where you go, I suppose. Um, if you go to the gym or you enroll in some weight class or something like that, they're usually talking about the physical. They talk about like, oh, how are your habits in your daily activity? What are you eating? And that's kind of where it goes. Anything else that goes beyond that, they may consider more psychological or like, oh, go see a therapist and get your emotions all and such. And then a therapist will sit down and yes, they're fantastic, depending on who you go to. We're like, okay, what's going on? Let's identify. Let's really dig deep. Though they kind of stay in the analytical sector on both sides. These are physical and analytical and factual and a bit more scientific sometimes, or psychological, of course. Where this is emotional. This is like it has to do with something that you cannot see. It is the emotions are generated within, and you keep them sometimes. So whatever situation had invoked an emotion, one of the byproducts is the emotion staying in with you because it was a very deep, very, very deep emotional response and bonding within you. It's like it, to a point, made you into who you are. It contributed. And when that is no longer needed, it's just creating space within you. So how do you really go through that? That's why sometimes people, when you see they work out and they reach this breaking point and then they start crying, like that, yeah, you can absolutely do that. You don't have to do it in that way. You can actually identify things in a different way that's a little bit more progressive. And yes, there's going to be the same feeling of relief. I feel like it, for me, and like how I have gone about it and how I would like to help others is it's less it's less needing to break yourself and heal, and it's more on healing yourself, loving yourself. Um, and transmuting the energy instead of having to get to one particular point where you just break down. We do that in our society. We know we need something, but we put it off because of XYZ reasons until you're at a breaking point. And then that breaking point reveals a lot of things, but it can be a huge situation that maybe, are you even prepared for it? Can you handle everything that is being given to you? And on top of that, how once you receive it, how do you process it? And then on top of that, once that is processed, how are you able to come down from it? When you are in a program, they're like, do this, do this, do this. And then when you're done, you're done. It's cut off. Like they don't help you. Um, they don't give you necessarily sometimes the tools to take so that you can take with yourself and believe in yourself, that you take with you for the rest of your life and you maintain it yourself. You have to start like weaning away and being like, okay, now this, I'm giving the power back to you. The power has always been with you. I'm just taking away a little bit more of the guidance because I will no longer be here in like 2 weeks. So you have 2 weeks of being able to separate from the program. Is called integration, and you integrate for yourself. So there's a huge difference between going into a program that is based on either just the mind, just the food, just the physical, whereas the emotional is very much, sometimes, not very much, sometimes it is a lot of times left out. And that's where I come in. I'm like, nope, it's very much the same. Y'all, if you can generate something within you, it can stay within you.
I think Alex is go ahead, unmuting.
That was me trying to struggle with the mute button. No, that itself, with not only referring to the physical but the emotional, that just seems like that is intentionally giving a much more, you're intentionally looking at the long term instead of just, oh, we're just going to do it one day at a time or 1 week at a time, and kind of like, yeah, it's definitely a different approach. And that, I mean, it's very interesting. And I'm a person who like likes to run away. I don't like to run away from emotions. I just like suppress them really well. So so I can definitely see how like that, something like that would definitely be beneficial for someone like me, who I kind of suppress the emotions until no one's around, and then I just have my little breakdown and with a pint of ice cream, and then I feel fine.
Yeah, no, that's no, and Adria, you hit the nail on the head there, where it's just like it's very analytical when it comes to both practices, when it comes to nutrition coaching and psychology. And it's like, if there's a way to kind of incorporate the two, because it's a real thing when you're holding on, like what you were talking about, the holding on the weight on your shoulders. And for me personally, like, even though I'm like accepting, the weight that I'm at now, I know that a lot of it is still not mine, and it's something that I have to, let go of. And so, like, I guess the quote unquote bad weight, or the unhealthy weight. And so it's just all like, I love my size. However, I know that it's deeper, and so I feel like, the fact that you have successfully, gone through the process of kind of like letting go of the weights that's not yours, or the weight that you've been carrying from other people or outside sources, if you will, is really commendable. So it's just like, now you're putting this into practice and actually teaching people how to, kind of work through that. So I feel like Alex and I could both benefit from that. So I'm actually going to be taking that as well. But we're gonna take a quick pause, really quick, a quick commercial break.
I
But
saw that.
Yeah, you're the first person. All right, welcome back, you guys. We just had to take a quick break because we're talking about so many amazing things and digging deeper into being more emotionally connected to ourselves when it comes to weight reduction, as well as Adri talking about going places where you thrive through our astrocartography.
But I just want to let you know that I have looked at my astro lines on astro.com, and I appreciate it.
Hey, I'm curious to see. I love looking at people's lines. So if you need help interpreting or you would like to have a session, I have a link and everything like that.
I'm just looking at colors right now. I really don't know. It's a lot of lines.
She can explain it. She can explain it. So
sounds great. I'm into that.
Let's do it. I think this is like one of my last questions, unless I have a follow-up question. I definitely want to ask about how your mom is doing and if that has influenced your journey as well. But the next question is, was there anything you learned about yourself transitioning through 3 different states and through blah, blah, blah. Was there anything you learned about yourself through transitioning through 3 different states in 3 years?
Yeah. It was actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I guess if we're including home, 6.
Huh.
6
6
states.
what? 6 states?
6 states. Yeah, since last year, September. I was in Baltimore, Maryland, and then there's another, I don't remember. Georgia, Tennessee, Orlando, North Carolina. Went through South Carolina. That was a beautiful trip. Wisconsin. Yeah, so it's a thing. Well, it was a lot. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was referring to like living in from California, living in California, living in Chicago.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Oh, then I've only lived in 2 states. Oh, this is my 3rd. I lied.
Oh,
Yeah, it's so close to Illinois that I'm like, whatever, it's the same place, but it's not. It's colder. um, let's see. It was huge. You grow up in one place, all the experiences with family, friends, so on and so forth, and then you kind of move on and you meet different family, you meet different friends, you meet, we call it your vibe attracts your tribe. And that's where I found that in Chicago, and sorry, not in Chicago, in California, at least one part. Actually, I found a lot of myself and the reflections of who I like about me and other people, and vice versa, and being in that person's energy. And following intuition, because like there'll be people that I wouldn't necessarily allow in my circle. And then there was a good reason for it that was found out later. Or I would allow someone to come into my circle and maybe I was overstepping boundaries, or they were overstepping mine. And it was a fantastic learning experience. And that's what I would have to take. I don't want to take it as, I don't want to be grungeful or having any ill will to anybody. First off, I can't even do that. I don't have the brain capacity. I don't have the brain capacity. I'm way too busy for that. It's not. Um, So in California, I really found me more so. I found me as a person and what I like to do, who I like to be around, expressing myself. In Chicago, it's more of my roots. My family is there, where I came from. And now that I'm here in Wisconsin, I'm finding wow. This is a fantastic question because like this really kind of I see the pattern. I'm blossoming into my future self. So I have my roots in Chicago where I came from, family in California. I found me as a person and like, oh, this is what I like. This is where I like to go. This is what I like to do. These are the people that I mesh with, and it brings me confidence. And I was like, oh, it was great. And now I'm in a state in a city that I honestly, it was will of God. I needed to move somewhere, and he pushed me here, and I'm like, okay, fine. And even though there's some things that fueled it that were probably like, why would you do that? I was like, well, it fueled me to actually create my LLC, and I'm doing something, and I'm going into a higher self. I'm evolving and raising my vibration, be in like a spiritual sense, in a human sense as well. um I actually got my degree in metaphysics, and I'm going to be getting my minister's certificate. So like I'm really going into it. I'm starting a ministry. I am really going into it, into this next phase of me. I'm rising into the person I want to become, and I would not have been able to do it as easily until I had done the work physically and cleaning out what was within me, and then cleaning out my mind, cleaning out my emotional as well, and cleaning out my voice and getting my voice back. So this is developing new Adriana. This is I have like a new name. I won't say it here because like it's a self-given name that I'll only tell to certain people, but I gave myself a new name, and it resonates because it's kind of the same name of what I have. Like certain meanings are pretty close. So that is the steps that I've taken. My roots. Oh, this is me, and I love this about me and the people that I'm with. And now I'm growing into new me. And I don't know what that looks like. I know what it looks like. I shouldn't even say that. I can see her. I picture her because I'm like, this is what I want to be. This is who I am. This is where I'm going to go. And I'm stepping into her. It's embracing the unknown, embracing the veil. And when the veil is ready to be pierced and walk through, I will do it. And I'm so looking forward to that.
Yay, okay, Adri. Okay, no, Adri, I see you. I see you. I'm proud of you, girl. No, that's really awesome. And uh it reminds me of a blooming like flower, whatever your favorite flower is, you're finally like kind of getting to that point where you're starting from the bud. You had
Yeah.
roots in Chicago, and the budding was happening in California, and now you're about to blossom. And you
Yeah, I love
are
that.
blossoming. You are blossoming.
Thank
Um,
you. Thank you. I feel that. I embrace that. Thank you. I embody it.
no, that's dope. That's dope. That's really cool. And so yeah, like I just going into that, like, do you feel like your mom had, because your mom has a business
She's a massage therapist. She's like a
massage
master
therapist.
body worker.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
She has been doing it for 36 years.
Mhm.
Um, Before that, she was in finances, which is funny because she's going back into finances. She's going into she has gone into speaking, so she speaks very well. And excuse me, she's going into how she would like to heal mm, how she wants to merge and heal health, like the actual health around finances and money and investments,
Mm.
through life insurance. At this point in time, that is the vehicles that she's using. And it's beautiful seeing how she's finding through her talents and her skills that she has mastered like mastered. Like she is the master massage therapist, body worker that people who are massage therapists, body workers go to her.
Mm.
So she's top. She's top tier, top 0.01%, y'all. I like toting her around. I love her. I
Yeah.
love my mother. Um, and now she's going into to finances, and I'm very excited for her to do that. And it did influence me because I do like investments. I'm not investments in how she's doing it. My investments, the way I like to invest are different. I like to invest more in I'm gonna say it, in like luxury items and having value and investing into that. However, her knowledge of investments has helped me a lot in understanding why it's very important to take care of your future self and passing that knowledge, that generational knowledge of wealth to the next generation and to just people in general that who are your age. I was talking with somebody yesterday about what an IUL was and how amazing an IUL is, which is universal, it's a type of life insurance. Um, and you make money off of it. You know, it's like it's astounding that these are what people, the wealthy, know, grew up in, have, and it's like it can be a no-brainer, you know, for perhaps them that have been raised in it, but from someone who doesn't know anything about it and is just scraping by and doesn't realize, like, if you even put $50, $100 away into this particular program, it's life changing because you actually accrue you the interest accrued is yours. So imagine putting $33,000 into this account. Let's say you take out a policy that's 150K on, you know, if something were to happen to you. And the policy is only like $3,300. Sorry, 33 thousand. Imagine the interest on that. And then you can reinvest it into what it is you want to do. You can invest it into business, you can reinvest it into um, helping out others, whatever. Like, that's mind blowing. That's, I don't want to say free money. You put the money in there, but like, you know what I mean. It's fantastic. I mean, people do the same with their 401k where, you know, you take money out, you take a loan against whatever it is that you put in there or how much you can take out, and then the interest, you're paying yourself interest. This is a little bit different, so it's good to have a diversification of in your anyway. I'm going a little too much, but yes, it did help me expand my investment strategy. So I have my IUL, I have my stuff in the stock market, in housing. I have some other things in like stash or whatever. Um, I have things like everywhere that I'm like, yeah, I think it's great. Um, so yes, it's huge. Very much changed a lot of the things that, or I should say, it added on to the information that I needed to know in life. And while it's not something I want to do, I'm like, y'all have to go to this person because this person knows absolutely everything and she will take care of you.
What's your mom's massage business and her finance business?
Um, the massage business is called Azure Health Relaxation Center, or no, Azure Mind Body Connection. I'm sorry, she rebranded. Azure Mind Body Connection Center, and it's based in Illinois, in Deerfield, Illinois specifically.
Okay.
And her, what's it called? The Azure Health Wealth is the Azure Health Wealth Investments. Yeah, AWI is the name of her business, her financial business.
Okay.
So it's in development, and it's fantastic. Like, yeah, putting down policies when, you know, like we recently had a death in the family. Her brother, my uncle, passed away, and he didn't have any insurance, and so everything had to be paid out of pocket. They couldn't do the funeral in the same state because he passed away in a different state, and so they had to do everything in one state. They couldn't transport his body. They had to do cremation. Thankfully, he had gotten a burial insurance. But if he had the health insurance and because he had a heart attack, the family would have been taken care of. You know, I know we have, and especially in our culture, where we've been taken advantage of medically and scientifically. There's a lot of trust issues, though. This is also now in 2023. This is a system that we need to use to evolve, to get over everything and pay ourselves back. I should say, pay ourselves back. So take care of you, take care of your family. Don't like you can amass all of this great stuff, but then you pass away and then the burden's back on the family and then you can be back to square one.
Right.
So yeah, I don't ever want that to happen.
I agree. I actually just got a policy not too long ago because it's like you never know. You never really know, and
Never know.
make sure you're safe and not putting people in a deeper burden. So I know this is like kind of a tough topic to talk about, but I feel like by POC, you know, people of color, minorities definitely need to tap into that more. So yeah, if you can just send your mom's information and stuff like that as a resource as well. And like I'm really glad that your mom is both a healer and then also trying to teach people about finance. So I think that that's amazing. Adri, did you have any questions? Any questions for us or anything? We don't want to take much more of your time, and we're really grateful that you're here. But do you have any questions for us?
Yeah, I'm so excited. Like I've only listened to one episode of the podcast. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts lately, or music. And you said this is 7 of 10, which I find funny because if I'm into numerology as well, and I'm a life path 7, and it's 5:57 right now. And on episode 7, and I'm like, there's something here. Something's gonna blow up. So I'm like, yes, please take it. But yeah, so your goal is to get 10 before May, and then what else after that? What's the system?
We're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep it going. We just made a goal to kind of get to 10 to start. And then but our goal, I don't know how Alex feels, but I feel like we're in it. We're trying to, you know,
We signed up.
yeah,
We signed up and like we doing this.
yeah.
You know, this was, I think this was like our like little mind baby. Like we had talked about it briefly, literally the beginning of last year. And then we talked about it again, like mid last year. And then it was like, all right, no, like I remember, you know, just like, I don't know, like this, like between like, you know, sometimes I get these like feelings in which I'm like, no, like we need, like something needs to happen. Something creative needs to happen. Like, and like, I sometimes have like all these like ideas go through my head. I'm like, all right. Like trying to, like, can't put my hands in too many like cookie jars, you know, just start off with. But I was like, this is like something that I was super excited to work on with Clinay. And it was just like, it's good. It's our baby. Our baby's blossoming. And I really love just what we're doing in general. And this is good stuff. And yeah, no, I think I do better with goals. So I like the whole, oh yeah, let's get to 10. And then like, oh yeah, let's do like another goal when we get there. To kind of get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So 10 is it's 10 in May. I would say that maybe we'll do, you know, or make a new goal of 20 to or maybe 30, you know, kind of just push ourselves a little bit more. And then like you know, I don't know why 100's going in my head right now, but making our way up to 100.
We are 10s on 10s on 10s. That's what that is.
I mean, I seriously feel we can make it to 100 within the following year and a half. I think that that's realistic. And so, but we'll see. I mean, I don't know. We'll have to calculate numbers and stuff like that. But
Look, Clinay is good at counting. I'm like, let's do another one. Let's do another one. Let's do another. I'm like, if I focus on a number too much, I like lose count and then things get a little wonky. So, I'm glad Clinay is keeping track.
So hopefully, like, I mean, we are doing a lot of things, the back end stuff on our own and stuff like that. So that's why it's like we're still like a work in progress and we're still learning as we go also. And then hopefully eventually, like we've talked about this before, just like we can maybe get somebody on to do like either the editing or do the promoting and stuff like that at some point. But right now we're just getting it out there and promoting people like yourself, who are, working towards making a difference in the world, while also healing themselves or have healed themselves, and so that's what keeps me going, no matter what we're going through behind closed doors. We try to make sure and make it a point to, shed some light for some people out there, because we're all going through our own little battles,
For real.
No, I appreciate you asking that. Like, yeah. So hopefully we get to 100 followers. I think we're at what, 60, 63?
Girl,
Yeah.
I have been so nervous. I have not looked.
We got 63 followers. I mean, hey, from March, the beginning of March to now, like it's not even the end of April yet. So,
yeah, anxiety freezing me up. I was like, I'm gonna just focus on what needs to get done. The follow up. I think one thing that I mean, I just like love about us, and also this, is that like I feel like the energy between that we bring is just like magnetic, to the point where the followers will come no matter what. And that's how I feel. There's like I mean, Clinay and I, we talked about, they're like, oh my gosh, we're living the same life, just on the other, like we're just on opposite ends of the US. And it was just like, things are, I was like, this is creepy. I was like, stop living my life. But also, there's probably a lot better.
Adri, you were saying that your life path is 7. What's that? What does that mean? As we
all spiritual stuff. It's when you add up your birthday and reduce it down to a number. And it goes 1 through 9, but then there's master numbers like 11, 22, 33. But 7 is a very spiritual number. So you in the Bible, 7 days, 7 sons, 7 a lot of things is a 7. So it's a very spiritual number of finding, being on this like a spiritual journey. And that's what I'm doing. So anyway.
Mine's is 8.
Mine is 6.
Yeah.
Yours is 6?
6.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. Wait, you got to add up your birthday. Ooh, all right, forgive me. Mine is 4. All right, I don't know where. Yeah, I don't know where.
They're my lucky 4s and 8s are actually my lucky numbers.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So 4. So if you're adding up all your the entire date, then it's 4, which is stability. Love 4s. I love 4s. And 8. So 4 plus 4.
Hey, hold on. So month and date?
Yeah. So like mine is May 21st, 1988. So I add 05, 21, 19, 88, and it goes down to 7. So when you add all the numbers and then you reduce it down into 1. So you might have to do little calculations. But 8 is it's a power number. It's success. It's big. It can be big gains or big failures because of how it is infinite sign. However, it is, once you get it, like it's a good number. It's why in China 8 is like one of their favorite numbers.
What's specific about 4?
Oh, personally, me, I like 4 because it's very stable. It's a stability number. It's like foundational. So you can think of it like when 4s and 7s get together. A 4, it builds the foundation. You can see it like building like a house, and then S1E7 is like, you can think of it as the roof or like the chapel. So yeah, it's basically literally as above, so below, because one builds from the ground and the other one brings from the spirit. So yeah, I'm very much into fours, and it was actually confirmed the other day, like, yep, your lucky number is 8 and 4. And I was like, yes.
Yes.
True.
I'm working it out over here. So I added it all up, and I was like, ooh. And then you have to get down to 1, right? Into the ones.
We'll find. I think we have.
What's your birthday?
Oh,
May 13th, 1988. Because for the longest time, I thought I was born on Friday the 13th. So that has always been like my thing I like to brag about.
Oh, Friday the 13th. Oh, that's funny. So you're just a few days older than me.
Yeah. Ooh. Few days. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, I'm May 21st.
Oh.
So yeah, your life path 8 as well.
oh, would you look at that?
Hey, yeah, it's funny because like people, supposedly 7, yeah, like even numbers are harmonious with each other, and usually odd numbers are harmonious with each other as well. Just depends.
Okay, we're harmonious, Adri.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It depends. It just depends on the numbers, because like 7 and 4 are not either even and odd, but they are, it's a powerhouse. It's like numerology's favorite baby or something like that. It's like what, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Oh, I'm excited. And yes, for sure. I'm excited to yeah, if you are free, I would like to talk to you more about my astrocartography. Sorry,
Yeah, please. I mean, hit me up after this because I need to do a chart. I would like to do at least 2 charts a week. So until the first week of May. So I would love to do yours, and I need to Clinay, she'll also send me hers as well, like next week, I believe. So it's yeah, we can talk.
Okay. I'll give you her number. Is that cool? I'll give you her number, your
Of
number.
course.
Okay, cool. All right. Well,
Jesus. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm like really excited. Like this is like, and you know, it's not. I think one thing I really love about this is like I learn something every episode, and I felt like I definitely learned so much in this in talking with you, and I'm excited.
Adria, do you have any handles or anything like that? That people can reach out to you by?
Sure. Your Inner Earth on Instagram and Your Inner Earth on TikTok. Pesky Business is also a handle if you want to reach out to that's my personal. I don't really do a whole lot, but I do just whatever I feel like. I'll just post it. So Pesky Business on TikTok, Pesky Business on Instagram.
Yeah, no. I appreciate you. Like I said, I'm always appreciative of learning new things from you. So thank you, Adri, for taking the time to do this with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And anytime if you want me back on, let me know when I have my LLC and I have some things that I have sold and be like, this is what I do as well. So
it's always cool to promote your journey. That's what we're doing too. Like we're promoting our journey. She's got Mummy and Pox.
Is like doing a Trini food pop-up based on foods that I grew up with, that I learned from my mom and my grandmother, who learned it from my great grandmother, and when they came over to the US from Trinidad. So I am excited. You know, I'm starting off with doubles and we're gonna like have a lot of fun.
And then I'm doing the whole shirt thing and then working towards life coaching and nutrition coaching. But I would pass the people who are having kind of plateaus and struggle buses on to you. So
yeah.
Yeah.
bus. There's a lot of people on the struggle bus.
Yeah, they're ready for it. Like, not everyone's ready. Like, it's a calling. It really is. So, but they say when the master will appear when the student is ready.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, thank you again. Alex, you want to wrap us up, close us out?
Yes.
Guys,
Woo! Thank y'all for listening. Please subscribe and share our podcast. We are really excited to share our journey and experiences with you, as well as learn along. As well as learn along the way. If you're part of the BIPOC community and you would love to share your journey, whether it's strength, fitness, or wellness, or anything in between, please send an email to info@obsidianstrengthpodcast.com. And remember to follow us on Obsidian Strength Podcast on Instagram, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. Bye.
Adri has to go to the bathroom. So